Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, we got Keith Lee versus Chris Jericho. A little fuckery goes a long, long way. We're going to jump over to Japan. A big shocker in Japan. Sanada shocks the world. And we're going to cover a little WWE at the back end. Cody throws down the gauntlet. Is Brock going to answer? That and no Bill Vagey. God loves me some me this week. That's week on the Banned from Ringside podcast. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel live. What up, Marks? And welcome to the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast. I'm your special guest host, Jason Cornelius Bell, JCB, aka the Smart Mark, and out there in Portland, Oregon. You know him, you love him. I call him the heart and soul of BFR. Other guys call him Two Beer Zach Pullman. Let's just call him Two Beer Zach Pullman. Two Beer, tell me something good.
Oh man, something good. I don't have anything good today.
I did ask you about how your day was, so that was probably the worst question in the world to ask.
But something good is I'm back on the podcast, and I got stuff to say.
I was about to say, he has thoughts. I have thoughts. One person that doesn't have thoughts, your regular host, William Vagey, he is gone for the week. He is going to Seattle early in the morning. I believe he said it was a 5:55 flight out of St. Louis to Seattle to go see Fish. That's his excuse. We'll just leave it at that and not ask him too many more questions going forward. Otherwise, like I said, he's out of here this week. Have a safe trip, Bill. We'll see you next week. Neither here nor there. Another broadcasting notes that I can think of off the top of my head. I guess I got to do my spiel to at least mark the date of the podcast. So on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 303, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. Now we got that good shit out the way. Two Beers back. We're going to, like I said, we're going to talk a little Sakura Genesis to start. So for those who don't like New Japan, I'm looking at you, Mike. You can start fast forwarding from this point on. I'll have the time stamp for you here in a little bit. Then we're going to talk about AEW. CM Punk might be coming back. We're going to get Two Beers thoughts on that. And then obviously we're going to talk a little WWE on the back end. Talk about Cody Rhodes because we didn't get Two Beers' perspective on Cody Rhodes last week. We'll get his perspective on it this week and what he thinks about his upcoming match against Brock Lesnar. We ain't got time to be fucking around. Well, actually, we do, but I'm going to keep this shit rolling. Let's get to that 3 count. The 1 count this week, we're going to go over to Japan. Like I said, to me, this was still the biggest story of the week. Sanada upsets the apple cart and wins the IWGP Heavyweight Championship over Kazuchika Okada. I call it an upset. I don't care if anybody else does. That's what I think personally. I was waiting for the banana peel to come out and Sanada to slip on it, and every time I thought it was going to happen, he just stepped up to the plate. He made just five guys look good. I laughed at that on the Phoenix Splash podcast. We jokingly called it burgers and fries. So I had to come back this week with a big old spoon in my hand and start giving these guys respect. I thought this was a really good match, probably the match of the week. It's going to be on the list of match of the year just because of the surprise nature of it. I put a poll on BFR podcast, I guess it was a couple of days after the fact, which was the bigger shock, Roman retaining or Sanada winning. Roman retaining won, but it was by a much smaller version than I thought, with 58% of the vote going to Roman Reigns. So thank you for all those who have voted. But I'll just kick it to you. Two Beer, you watched it, you saw it, you introduced me to New Japan, showed me who this Okada guy was, and told me this was the guy to watch. And he's dropped the title to Sanada. Thoughts on the match?
It was not, it was not the best Okada Sanada match, but that is not saying anything because they've had some very, very excellent matches. But this was definitely a solid main event, big show, New Japan match. Really enjoyed it. I love the finish. Sanada finished the story.
You ain't shit.
Gedo did everything the WWE refused to do.
Bullshit.
And I just felt like the timing was right. Just like you guys talked about with WrestleMania last week, it just felt like the timing was right. It felt like it was time for a change. And I, was arguing that in Toronto, or Montreal rather,
right.
with Sami Zayn.
Right.
I was arguing that even like way back to Clash at the Castle, although that was a little bit more of an incidental thing, but I thought it could be good because we've seen Drew be that guy. Anyway, this is not that count, so I don't want to get too far off the rails. But I just
go ahead, man. You missed a week, man. Go ahead, vent your shit, dog.
Yeah. just kind of as a comparison, this was really solid booking, and it just felt like the right time because Sanada's got a new look. He's got the black hair. He's got new music. He's the leader of a new faction. He's wearing trunks instead of pants.
Right.
Really kind of the only thing that's ever been missing with Sanada is the charisma. He's got everything else. He's got the look. He's got the talent. The match quality is there. It's just kind of this like charisma factor. And, him leading this faction, it just feels like, a good time to freshen up. It just told an excellent story. We've seen Sanada go up against this time and time again, and not just with the belt, but specifically with the belt against Okada. And I just thought it was excellent, fun booking, and it's an example. I feel like New Japan's on an upswing as far as booking and as far as they're always having like great quality matches, but there's new factions, right? It's like it basically like all they did was dissolve Suzuki-gun and then like mix some people around,
right?
And it feels so much better. Like if you're somebody who regularly watches New Japan, it feels so much fresher. And this was just indicative of that. It feels good. It's worthwhile, So I don't know what you thought about it.
No, Suzuki, I never tripped off of like when you were saying when Suzuki-gun broke up and they put, different parts together. They basically put Suzuki in his own little mini faction with Ren Narita and Desperado. With him, Taichi obviously goes to just Five Guys. If you just dropped in and watched New Japan right now, you would kind of think, you would kind of think that this was minus just Five Guys. This was the way, the New Japan, roster would kind of shake down faction wise or whatever the case may be. I totally agree with that. It does feel like it's fresh. ELP getting the boot out of Bullet Club is another example of this because he'll fall into somebody's lap. Personally, I said I wanted him in LIJ because I think he would be a nice fit for LIJ. His laissez-faire attitude to things, but he can still be a heel. I think that would probably be my personal choice, but it's a Mark choice. I'll totally admit that. But I do agree with the fact that this was a ballsy call. Okay, you just don't take the title off of arguably your top guy in the company and not have to take a second or third look at it. I get, this is Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns all over again. The fact that, and I said it last week, the fact that they pulled the trigger on the fact that Roman was going to retain, that's a ballsy call right there. No two ways around it. They could have easily just did what everybody expected him to do and move along. Gato did it differently, and he's going to keep going with that, and I have no problem with it. It ultimately leads me to think of, Sanada's going to get his chances with guys, LIJ guys. Obviously, Hiromu came out post-match and dropped the gauntlet to be the first challenger, but he has to put up the junior title over Kanemaru first before we even get to Sanada and Hiromu. But Hiromu, Shingo, Naito, easily Will Ospreay. These were all guys, as soon as he won, off the top of my head, that I was thinking of that he could possibly have title defenses against. So, I mean, in that scenario, you have freshness at the top. Okada was on one of them nasty little rolls that he normally likes to get on, where it's like, damn, who's going to beat Okada? Because now, to me, that was going to be the running question. Will Ospreay was my opening guess, but now, obviously, that's put on hold. Obviously, we can still get to that, but the G1 is going to be the next, I guess, springboard to figure out who's going to be the guy to possibly challenge Sanada. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Sanada held it to at least the G1. That's in July, I believe. I think this is the 15th to the 14th of August. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sanada holds it at that point. If he drops it beforehand, I think that would be even the bigger surprise. Kudos to Gato, like I said. Making this call is a ballsy call, and I have to give all credit for that. I didn't think it was going to happen. I was basically waiting, like I said, for Okada to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I will say the one time that I was like, okay, you know what, fuck you, Okada, is when he went to the money clip about halfway through the match. And I'm like, okay, dude, really? I mean, you ain't got enough respect to just go ahead and finish this motherfucker. You got to come out with the money clip. You that bored? So a part of me was kind of glad that the money clip was not rewarded. You saw the match. What did you think when he pulled the money clip out?
Oh, I thought Kevin Kelly hit it right on the head, where he's like, he's trying to beat him with the B finisher, like a disrespect thing.
It felt like it was disrespectful. It's like when, you got somebody pinned and the guy pulls him up or the girl pulls him up or whatever the case may be. I'm like, okay, immediately I am rooting for the other person at this point, because you need to learn. You ain't supposed to be doing that shit. And I think that's kind of the story that I'm taking away from this match. I'm waiting for Okada to come back whenever it is on New Japan proper, because I believe he'll be over in the States this weekend in DC, but then obviously they'll come back at some later point. I want to see what's
probably be Dominion. I'm thinking, because you got Hiromu for Dantaku, which is a good opponent because it's super cool because Hiromu's a junior, and they usually don't have the junior challenge the heavyweight hardly ever. They do it like on the anniversary shows, and it's usually not even necessarily for the title. So this is cool. And they have the former stablemates, and you know that they're going to have a good match. But I figure after Dantaku, Dominion will probably be Okada's rematch, because Sanada said he would give him a rematch right afterwards. Yeah, so
it was just, it's funny because he was like, now I get to say this, I'll see you down the line or whatever the case may be. I was just like, God damn, this is all kinds of weird. What the fuck? It's like the Twilight Zone and shit. I will give Sanada credit. Like I said, I didn't think that he would win this match. As soon as the junior title match ended, I was like, okay, basically this is over. I kind of settled in to just kind of watch the coronation, I guess, for Okada to begin. When he reversed that Rainmaker, I was like, okay, this ain't the way I thought this was going to go. That's when I was starting to think this might actually happen. All kudos to both guys on the end of this match. The last 5, 6, 7 minutes are classic New Japan, balls to the wall, reverses, backslides, one false finish where I thought the backslide was going, it was the O'Connor roll, and he rolled him into the bridge or whatever, and it was like 2.99999 for infinity. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But this is what I thought was, New Japan is back, and then this was a great indication of how things are getting ready to be a lot different in 2023. But we'll talk more about that here in a second. Let's jump backwards. Let's go talk about Robbie Eagles versus Hiromu Takahashi. Obviously, we kind of gave it away a little bit. Hiromu retains over Robbie Eagles in 21-12. I thought this was Robbie Eagles, kind of a match that he had control of, and then it slipped out of his fingers towards the end. Hiromu came in with the bad wheel. Robbie Eagles attacked that bad leg pretty much throughout, submissions inside, outside the ring. I thought Hiromu, quiet as it's kept. Robbie Eagles is a former IWGP Junior Champion. Guess who he beat, boys and girls? That's right, one Hiromu Takahashi. So I thought we would have, lightning striking a second time. Unfortunately for Robbie Eagles, that wasn't the case. Really good match. I thought this was going to be the swerve of the night where Robbie Eagles was going to come back, get back with the TMDK, and then take the title off of Hiromu, setting up Hiromu for BSOJ. Obviously not the case. What'd you think about the junior heavyweight title match?
This match was awesome. There was also a moment that scared the ever-living shit out of me. They did Robbie Eagles did a poison Rana to Hiromu from the top rope, and Hiromu, who's already broken his neck in the ring once, landed right on the top of his fucking head. Just disgusting.
How he didn't get more hurt is I don't get it. I mean, just
who knows? He could be. You know what I mean?
This motherfucker here is, yeah, he could easily be walking around with a broken freaking neck. I saw that same spot. It's one of those cringy spots where I was like, okay, is he getting up? Yeah, all right. But I mean, ultimately, that didn't mean anything. He finished the match with Desperado with the fucking broken neck. So I mean, what difference did it make at this point?
Fucking crazy. But no, this was, if this is your first for either guy, like if you were a New Japan subscriber or whatever, if you're like say you signed up to see Sasha Banks, right, or Mercedes, you're somebody like that,
right?
This is an absolute fantastic showcase of why the junior division is so fucking great in New Japan, and just always has been. But I mean, Hiromu's just he's the new ace, he's the ace of the junior division, always has a fantastic match, just an absolute, just dripping with charisma. Like, people want to love Hiromu so much, and everybody does. And man, Robbie Eagles, there were some moments in this match I thought for sure he was taking this belt. Like,
yep.
He's also just a very fantastic wrestler. You want to root for him, but he does that, sets up the knee bar with the 450 to the knee, and he got that.
That's what I was
right after he poisoned around.
It's over. It's over. I was like, God damn. Roman's getting ready to tap again.
Absolutely. So this was awesome. This show was awesome. Even as we go back, pretty much like the final 4 matches, you could say the final 5, but the final 4 matches were all like legitimately excellent matches. This was an excellent worth. It's worth your time to watch this pay-per-view.
No, it definitely, what was it, 3, 5, 9 matches, if I'm counting it right? Yeah, 9 matches, and no match went over 26 minutes. The main event was the 26-minute match. Outside of that, you basically had this pay-per-view rolling right along. So, I mean, if you got time to sit down and watch it, by all means, put yourself down, get your beverage or weed of choice, and knock yourself out with some good-ass wrestling. Quick sidebar. So, obviously, Kanemaru is going to be next up for Hiromu before Hiromu can touch Sanada. Do you see a title change in that match? Now, mind you, Hiromu lost to Kanemaru in last year's BSOJ, got boat raced. It was one of those times where you didn't ever really see Hiromu get waxed like that. It still stands out. When he won the title back, he said he wanted a piece of Kanemaru just for that fact. And now we have this match. Do you see a title change?
I don't see a title change, but it does make for a good story and for a good challenger. But Kanemaru is just not like a singles champ dude. He's really good in the ring, but I don't know. In my head, I just wouldn't do it if I was booking.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I just think that the Just 5 Guys push is just starting. The fact that you pulled the biggest trigger and you took the title off of Okada, I mean, is Hiromu that much more of an untouchable person at this point? I mean, I'm just saying, and this is from the LIJ guy in the room, so take it for what it's worth. I wouldn't be surprised if Hiromu retained, but on the flip, in my head, I have my head already expecting to be kicking something if Hiromu does do that shit. But, that's the LIJ mark in me. Next up, like I said, going backwards, I thought arguably the match of the night. 15:30, I believe, bell to bell, Aussie Open versus Bishamon. Obviously, Bishamon coming in as the reigning defending IWGP Tag Team Champions. Aussie Open, arguably one of the hottest teams in the world, and I'm talking in any promotion. Every time you look up, I've seen these jokers running around. Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, we talked about them a little bit towards the end of the New Japan Cup. Mark Davis, more specifically, having to take Will Ospreay's spot and having pretty good success taking his spot, beating Evil, but then end up losing in the semifinal, if I'm not mistaken. And then Kyle Fletcher, obviously, with the same individual success. So them coming into this match, they had beaten Bishamon, Goto, and Yoshihashi in singles matches, respectively. They beat them in a six-man tag, I believe, was a preview match. So Aussie Open had all kinds of momentum going in. And heart of hearts, I was thinking, you know what? This is where I think Gato's going to pull the, I got your ass. I'm an Aussie Open guy. I kind of wanted to see them win. Bishamon has kind of raised up the prestige of the IWGP Tag Team titles, which is not necessarily an easy thing to do because Gato does not care about the tag team division, apparently, but he has at least done enough to where it felt like this was a big time match. Aussie Open comes out, wins the match. Kyle Fletcher busts his head open pretty much like 2 minutes in, and they have to wrap his head up, and he's bleeding through the bandage. I thought that added some drama to the match, plus the natural, feud, for lack of a better word, between the two teams. They saw each other in World Tag League a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken. Aussie Open won the original, the first match, but then lost in the final against Bishamon, and now Aussie Open on top of the IWGP Tag Team division. What'd you think of the match?
Oh, it was awesome. I thought it was going to be good because Aussie Open is they're just absolutely fantastic. Like you said, they're the ones that go anywhere in the world and will have an excellent match with anybody. And Bishamon's been, they've been cool, man. Like they're good. Like they're a good team. And I do feel like the tag titles mean something. That spot scared me. I saw Kyle Fletcher, do his top rope moonsault, like Ari Hard moonsault, like off the top rope to the outside. And he hits the back of his head on the guardrail with all the force of him falling from 12 feet in the air. Just absolutely insane. And I was like, oh my God, that had to hurt so bad. And then you see him down there with the medics, and I'm like, oh my God, this dude might have really taken himself out.
I was thinking concussion.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. And who knows if he hasn't, but he was so good right afterward. They just, with Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell, they put staples in Finn's head.
Oof.
Here they just wrapped a bandage around it super tight.
Yeah, I can't get back in there. We ain't got time for those staples.
Bleed so much through the bandage, but just phenomenal. And if you're familiar with Aussie Open, they're they got a hard hitting, fast paced tandem style. They're a very dynamic tag team to watch, and he wasn't missing a beat. And like you said, it did add drama to the match. It made him even more of a babyface. I think it added to the match because it made him feel like he's fighting from underneath and like he's a plucky underdog. And people, I feel like, were really behind him in this match. And yeah, they got the win, and I was pleasantly surprised, man. Very cool. Excellent match. Only 15 minutes long,
Right. That's what I was saying, because I went on Cage Match and I was, we had talked about this on PSP. I guess that was Monday when we recorded, and I was writing down the time, and I was like, 15 minutes? What the fuck? Let's say this was 15 minutes. I was like, no way. This felt like 25 in the best way possible. It just, like I said, once Fletcher hit the back of his head on that guardrail, the whole kind of tone, I guess the tone is the word I'm going for. Just the match just changed. It just felt like, now things felt a little more, tense or whatever the case may be, where this was Aussie Open's chance. Because, if you didn't get it now, when are you going to get the next chance? So that, like I said, that added to just the pure emotion of the match. The crowd turning on Bishamon towards the end. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, are they booing these jokers? So they were getting ready to put, the finisher on. I think it was Kyle Fletcher. And, the crowd started to boo. And I'm like, what's this? Unbelievable. They were cheering the Gaijins. What the fuck is going on? I was like, man, let me get this straight. So poor Yoshihashi has battled to this point. Now this is like the height of his career. This is as good as it's going to get. He's never going to be world heavyweight champion. So this is it. This is it. And you booing this poor bastard? I was like, man, this shit's crazy. But that's, I guess, credit to Aussie Open as how good they are and how the fans have connected with them moving forward up to this point where they wanted them to beat arguably, their best team in the division in Bishamon, which I just, like I said, I heard that. I thought that was absolutely crazy. Did you trip off of that or no?
Oh, like the fans turning?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, not like,
Yeah, not a full, but 100%. Yeah, it was noticeable. And I wonder if it would have happened without the head injury, but I think it might have.
I think the head injury definitely, like I said, made this feel more like it was a dire, do or die situation. I think it was kind of 50-50 to come into it because, like I said, Aussie Open, I think, is one of the best teams in the world. And the fact that they come back to Japan and they've kind of stayed there for a little bit, I think that's, ingratiated themselves with the Japanese audience. I don't know. A part of me wants to say yes, but just thinking in my head that the tenor, I guess, of the match just changed when he cracked his head. It felt like, this might have been Aussie Open's night. This was another one where I thought the chance would retain. So them pulling the trigger, them being Gato pulling the trigger on this, big time surprise. Not saying it's a bad thing. TMDK, I think, is going to be the first up, if I saw that correctly on the backstage comments. So that's Mikey Nichols and Shane Hayes. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they beat Aussie Open in World Tag League. So obviously they have a claim kind of right there, just waiting to be had. Jeff Cobb and ZSJ backstage makes an agreement to have a title match for the World TV Championship. So that's going to be real, real interesting. I mean, Jeff Cobb's a big-ass boy. ZSJ in 15 minutes, I don't know if anybody can beat ZSJ in 15 minutes, but if someone can, it could be Jeff Cobb. But we'll hold off on that until we get to that point. Speaking of ZSJ, god damn, that was a good-ass segue. Let's talk about Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shota Umino in the World TV Championship match. Obviously, we have the 30-minute time, the 15-minute time limit versus the 30-minute time limit they had in the New Japan Cup. And I was thinking to myself, this could be a scenario that totally helps Zack Sabre Jr. because, like I said, who the hell is going to beat Zack Sabre Jr. in 15 minutes? Unfortunately, it wasn't Shota Umino in this case. Zack Sabre Jr. retains with a nice backslide into a bridge for the win. To me, the biggest takeaway point from this match is Shota, even in 15 or 13:35, if I'm reading my handwriting correctly, in 13:35, Shota was step to step with ZSJ no matter what happened. And that's kind of a crazy thought because this is coming from the guy that says Zack Sabre Jr. is the best technical wrestler in the world, and he'll tell you that too. Shota Umino was right there with him every step of the way. It just one mistake at the end cost him. The inexperience of Shota bites him in the ass. The best technical wrestler in the world gets him in a technical move to finish the match. Thoughts on ZSJ versus Shota Umino?
This match was awesome. I also thought that it was like Shota Umino's time. I think the crowd thought that it was Shota Umino's time. And, Zach's been really, really good with this, even though his style doesn't necessarily lend itself to high-speed, fast matches.
Agreed.
He's done a fantastic job with this belt. So
he's like the anti-World TV champion.
yeah. Yeah, just absolutely fantastic match, though. And I do love this format. Like, I love the TV title. It's like the high-speed title in Stardom, which is like, one of my favorites on the show. So I think that, eventually it'll be somebody's time to beat Zack Sabre, and then, hopefully it elevates him to, kind of be more in that heavyweight picture division, at least as a worthy challenger, if not winning the actual belt. Because, in kayfabe, like, he is the best technical wrestler, right? And that's how he's presented. So I do think that he deserves more world title opportunities for that.
No, and I try to say that I hate when people say "with all due respect," and then the next words coming out of their mouth is, somebody getting ready to run somebody down. But I'm gonna get ready to do this. With all due respect, Sanada winning the title opens up a lot of people to be, a worthy contender, and it's not a knock against, Zack Sabre Jr. I think Zack Sabre Jr. and Okada, we've seen it before. It's just Okada's essentially that guy. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take a special effort from someone to usurp him when he has the title. When Sanada has the title, you can kind of look, you can put Zack Sabre Jr. Up and be like, I can see Zack Sabre Jr. winning this. You can put Naito up there, Shingo up there, Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay put him on the shelf with a broken fucking orbital bone. So these are the things that when you said, it's freshened everything up. And I was thinking, damn, there's a lot of new matches that can be coming out of this, and matches that would feel much more 50-50, maybe even 60-40 if you like Sanada a lot and you think he's going to win that match. It still feels more even than it would be when Okada is at the top of the hill. At that point, you're just like, okay, you ain't winning. You might win. You ain't winning. You ain't winning. So to me, Okada being on top is good because everybody knows who he is, and he's the draw. Sanada makes things much more interesting because now it feels like not most anybody, but instead of 4 guys having a chance, now 8 guys have a chance.
Sure, absolutely.
Next up, we'll go with the ladies. It was the triple threat match: Hazuki versus Mercedes Moné, coming in as the reigning defending IWGP Women's Championship. It was initially, initially supposed to be Azumi, who is the Stardom high-speed champion at the time. Currently, if you don't watch Stardom, first off, shame on you. Secondly, she has the record for the most title defenses as the high-speed champion in 10, so she's coming in extremely hot. Hazuki is essentially a rival of Azumi. They kind of battled for the high-speed championship 4 or 5 years ago, whatever the case may be. Now, obviously, Hazuki has kind of gotten her way into this match. And then, obviously, Mercedes Moné, a.k.a. Sasha Banks. This is her second title defense. I thought this was going to be I thought she was going to retain, but I just wasn't sure how we were going to get there. And crazy as it sounded, and this is just me, and I'll ask you first because I know what I thought. How did you think Mercedes Moné looked in ring versus the two, especially one in Azumi, who's essentially the high speed ace, but Hazuki, who's also been a high speed champion multiple times? How did you think Sasha Banks looked in ring?
Slow.
I said the same thing, and then I was like, well, and I watched the match the second time, and I was just like, wait a minute. Well, she's not slow. These two are just really, really fast. For WWE terms, she seemed fast, but the style is different. They don't, do that. Most don't do the lucha libre, bouncing off the ropes. So WWE speed, she was faster than most anybody else. Io Sky probably is the first person I can think of that would probably be similar to Sasha Banks right now. In this match, when she ran, like the first time she ran the ropes or she went from corner to corner, I was like, damn, she seems slow. At least that's just the way my knee-jerk reaction was. That's the way I looked at it the first time. And then I watched it the second time and I was like, well, she's not slow. It's just that these two are faster, if that makes sense.
Totally. And yeah, she looks slow, and it's only because she's in the ring with 2 other women who just work a lot faster. And they're just, the Stardom women's wrestlers are the best wrestlers in the world. They're some of the best wrestlers in the world. It's just night and day. And I mean, Sasha or Mercedes, one of the best American wrestlers. She's got absolute star presence, more than almost anybody on the Stardom roster as far as just presenting herself like a star and the charisma factor and stuff. I think Julia give her a run for her money as far as pushing herself as Julia feels like a star all the time, right?
Right.
So she's got that going, but it just goes to show how there's just a whole chasm of experience, and it's just a different league. It's similar to it's just kind of like how you were trained. Like Sasha's been she's in NXT, she's in WWE. It's not like she was in the Indies, working Japan, like the Jamie Hayters and the of the world, doing and the Tony Storms, and then they got into WWE. She's learned a certain way and she's learned a certain speed, and that just becomes kind of how you go about it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, it's like it's not like a broken record. It's a different world. It was funny. I know Bill's a big Charlotte fan. He's not here to defend himself. I'm not trying to run him down. That match
good. I'm good. No, go ahead. Take the shot at him. Get him.
Yeah. He's not here to defend himself. But that Charlotte match was phenomenal. She's a great big match wrestler. But
for sure.
I know Charlotte might be the best women's wrestler I've ever seen. I'm like, she's not even in the top 10.
Ooh, damn.
If you talk about best women's wrestlers in history, not even in the top 10. And all 10 of those that I'm talking about, they're out of all 10 of them, right? You
broke up right there. You said, I'll say that last part again. You broke up on me at the end.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they're probably all Japanese, right? Just throughout history. And whether currently or, Manami Toyota and all of these women. But that's not saying to be the 11th best.
Right.
Is a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't be mad if I was the number, 11th of 100 or whatever the case may be. Shit, of 20. I'm cool with that too, motherfucker.
And I could be exaggerating, but it's just, I'm just gushing about how great these Japanese women wrestlers are.
What is it?
It's a whole new product.
Azumi's 20, Azuki's 25. I'm like, Jesus Christ almighty. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. These are, Azumi's not even hit her prime. Azuki's probably coming into her prime, and you brought Mercedes in, who's basically in her prime right now. I thought the match, overall was pretty good. A couple of missed spots, but I think that's just, the speed of, I'm going hyper fast and you're not going fast enough, or maybe you're going, in Sasha's mind, you're going too fast, whatever the case may be. I thought there was a couple of missed spots. I thought the finish was nicely done where Mercedes hit her finisher with Azumi on her back, when then throwing it basically Azumi off her back onto Hazuki. Hazuki doesn't take the pin, which was a kind of surprise because I thought that was going to be the way that they would kind of protect Azumi as, the high-speed champion, but not the case. She ate the pin. Oh, no, I thought this was the start of, like you said, a 5-match run where this was a good show to start, but then this match kind of kicked it into another gear where and I love how they slid in that, World TV Championship right in between, because that's not going to take long, but it's a title match, so you're going to want to watch it more times than not. You get that bad boy in, and then they ran the last 3 matches, tag team, junior title, and heavyweight title. I thought this was a really good 5-match stretch. And I know we talked about WrestleMania, where especially night 1, when they had that 3-4 match stretch in a row, starting, I guess, really with Logan Paul and Seth Rollins, and it ran down, obviously, with the Usos and Sami Zayn at the end in the main event. I will argue this is comparable. I'm not going to say better, but I'll say comparable. You saw it both. What'd you think?
Comparable. Yeah, I mean, this was one, it's in the running for one of the best shows of the year, for sure. Just in general.
My man. I'll say you didn't have to agree with me, but thank you for agreeing with me.
No, I mean it's I mean everything's like subjective, right? But
right.
We obviously are both people who love that New Japan style. I like when New Japan is good. New Japan is so good, right?
Yeah.
It's a little less consistent as far as storytelling. It's like every AEW pay-per-view is like kick ass, right? Well, they don't do it like New Japan has one every month, so
right.
It's a little less consistent as far as like that level of quality. But usually the main event's good. You don't normally get, like you said, this 5-match streak. I was like, oh damn! I was like, yeah, it's not like the best match, the women's trio, but I was like, that was fun.
Right.
It was good, and I really enjoy Sasha over there. I don't want to say anything bad just because she's not, working as quickly as like these other women who specialize in high speed matches. Right. It is awesome to see her doing what she's doing. I mean, we've been begging for it for forever, and to get some of those excellent women from WWE over to Japan. So this is cool. She's living the dream. We're getting to see it, and I appreciate it. But yeah, you don't normally always get these like 5-match runs. And Sakura Genesis, if I would have had to pay $50 for it, I wouldn't have been mad.
Good thing that you know somebody that's got well, actually, you have it too. So I was about to say,
I pay for mine.
Yeah, I was about to say you got it too, and so in that scenario, we're good. Just a kind of a side note on Mercedes. So obviously, Mercedes retains, and Mayu Iwatani, she has next up. She basically comes in the ring and gets slapped by Mercedes, so they'll have their match. I believe it's the 23rd of this month for the IWGP Championship. I think that would be much more of a match that wouldn't have to focus on Sasha being fast. I think this is a match where they're both kind of the same type of wrestler. Both can fly, both can wrestle on the ground. So this would be much more of a match that I think that could be more of a showcase for Sasha. Not saying that she did poorly here by any stretch of the imagination. I thought, I agree with Zach. I thought this was a really fun match. I would have liked to seen her go one-on-one with Azumi, but upon retrospect, this might have been the better choice of way to go. But neither here nor there. Just some other notes on this.
Real quick before you move on.
No.
I think Maya versus Sasha will be phenomenal. I think it would also, in the same way, it should open up people to becoming Mayu Iwatani fans because she is arguably the best women's wrestler working right now. She doesn't get a lot of praise on the American side just because like Meltzer hasn't rated as many of her matches as he has like some of the other women. But she is just like been consistently great for like a fucking decade. Like she's awesome. So if people haven't watched her stuff, not the same style, but like the level of greatness of like Asuka, right? She's like that fucking good.
Yeah, one of the best moonsaults in the game, hands down. I remember seeing Mayu when ROH, and this is pre-pandemic, they started their women's division. They wanted to crown their first ROH champion. Shout out to High Five Time, my wrestling Lauren Shaver. I wasn't even really impressed with her then, but I just didn't really, I guess I didn't get it. She was good, but she wasn't like, she wasn't as flashy. She wasn't great, but she would pull some shit out. I was like, oh, okay. She was enough to where she would keep my attention, but it was never like enough to where I could really invest. And then I started to watch Starve, and then I was like, oh, okay, that's why everybody's going crazy over this bitch. Okay, I get it. My fault. So I totally agree with you on that. It's not even a showcase for Mercedes. More so, at least selfishly, it could be a showcase for Mayu. So more of the Western side of the world knows about her versus everybody else like me who watches everything that's nerdy that Bill would say, but neither here nor there. See, Bill, they're making a
movie. They're making a movie out of Mayu Iwatani's life.
Right.
Like it's called Runaway Wrestler. Like, yeah. I mean, she's that big of a cultural, like, Anyway,
sorry, Jade. She's that bitch. Just some other thoughts. Just like I said, some other like quick notes on the Sakura Genesis card. Obviously, I kind of said it before, but Finley turns on ELP in their match against it was ELP, Kenta, and Finley versus Hikuleo, Tamatanga, and Master Wato. ELP kicks Wato's head off to win the match, but then post-match, ELP does not participate in the Bullet Club beatdown, and then finally Finley's like, enough's enough. I'm getting ready to whoop your ass. ELP gets whooped. Ishimori comes from the back, low blows him in the nuts, kicks him in the nuts to put the cherry on top of the cake like a fucking mark. I'm like, oh, here comes Ishimori. He's going to come to save the day. I'm like, God damn it. It's like, you fucking mark. It's like I've never seen Bullet Club ever turn on anybody, ever. Okay, I've watched this maybe 5-6 years. I've seen 2-3 Bullet Club, beat downs. You know what I'm saying? It's like I never get it. I'm like fucking Charlie Brown. I'm like, okay, let me kick this fucking football. I know it's getting ready to happen. I won't kick this football this time. This motherfucker came down. It was just like, no, kick them in the balls. I'm like, all right, fair enough. So ELP out of Bullet Club. I thought the match was, good. It at least sets up ELP basically chasing David Finley. David Finley and Tamatanga for the never openweight title, and then Kenta and Hikuleo for the strong openweight title. That's essentially what this match was all about. But obviously the big story coming out of it was David Finley, I guess, taking charge of Bullet Club, kicking ELP out, and everybody falling in line with David Finley. So I'll ask you, David Finley as the leader of Bullet Club, are we good with it?
Yeah, I think he's really coming into his own. I'm really enjoying it. I like the turn on El Phantasmo, who already, even though he's like such a douche and like he's so easy to hate because he's just he's such a cock knocker, right? That's what I would call him. But his moveset is very babyface, and I think he can be an excellent babyface as well. And I think he can be a guy that people really want to root for. I liked whenever they came out, like he went to like give the kid his hat, and they got super pissed. They grab the hat and he throws it. He takes it from the kid and he throws it away, and then he gives him his shirt instead. So, but no, I think it's good, and that's another freshening up, right? Because the Bullet Club's been around forever, so we're freshening up the Bullet Club as well. So just more tweaking and taking some risks and dialing some knobs and trying to get turn some people into top guys. Because it is different, because now you've got so many challengers for their top belt and so many like up and comers, and then, again, to analogize to WWE, it's like, who is there? There's literally just the opportunity of a rematch. That's like the only thing that there is that's fresh. Maybe Gunther, but you're not presenting him that way right now. So anyway, good show.
Just for the fact that I'm that guy, and as a fair and humble host, at least this week, I'll talk about Doki choking out Naito. That will obviously set up a Naito Doki singles match, but they had a 6-man tag. I believe it was Naito, Bushi, and Shingo versus Taichi, Doki, and Kanemaru. Sounds right. Just 5 guys wins the match, and then post-match, all the 5 guys members are basically, except for Shingo and Taichi, they were on the outside. But Doki's choking out Naito, which was kind of pissing me off. I ain't gonna lie. And then
how would you feel if Doki beat Naito?
I would kind of be pissed. I would kind of be pissed. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get it. Naito's supposed to put guys over, but this is a junior. Okay. It's not like he's on the level of Hiromu Jr. He's like two steps down. Like Hiromu, Despy.
He's on par with Master Wato.
Right now, yeah. Okay, if you put those 2 guys in the ring, to me, it's kind of a coin flip it. Because I think Wato's on the rise, and I like Doki, but I think right now it would be a coin flip. If there is no fuckery, and Naito loses that match, all hell's going to break loose in this apartment. I promise you. It'd be like House of Torture winning a match against LIJ, as far as I'm concerned. Just not a happy camper. I would be pissed. But I'm a Mark. What do you want from me? House of Torture loses to Hanare, Francisco Akira, Jeff Cobb. The only thing comes out of that is Catch-22, Akira, and TJP, except a junior title match versus Kevin Knight and Kushida. That should be good. Kushida sounds like he'll be coming back for BSOJ, but we'll see what happens on that. And then, and I even hate to say this, the opening match, the Curtain Jerker, was really, really fun. And the fact that it had Yano in it, and I'm saying, first and foremost, fuck Yano. And secondly, the fact that I thought this was a fun match should just say how fun this match actually was. Great-O-Khan, Suzuki, and Yano on the same team. So Yano has nobody that's quote-unquote a partner versus Desperado, Tanahashi, and Yo. Really fun match. All kinds of chicanery, all kinds of fuckery. Yano, Suzuki, and Great-O-Khan win the match. Obviously, Yano with the low blow rolls shit up, and he starts to try to get out of the ring when Suzuki's getting ready to try to tear his head off with a fucking chair. Did you watch the match?
Yeah, and I couldn't believe. That's so funny that you thought about this. Yeah, it was fun, but I was on the fuck Yano train because he pinned Tanahashi. Like, how's Tanahashi in the opener getting pinned by Yano? Like, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Like,
ain't no love, bitch. So it's like, I'm pinning Okada and Tanahashi in the opener and the closer. Now say something about it.
Yeah.
Who wants some of Gato? Who wants some of Gato?
But yeah, these the first matches. I don't. To be fair, I didn't pay a ton of attention to. Just had them on the background when I was working, but I saw that shit and I was like, motherfucker.
I say, ain't no love up in this motherfucker. Don't get me wrong. The fact that Tanahashi goes down is just like, it's not like it hasn't happened before. Yano has pinned Tanahashi. It was just like the ultimate cherry on top of a trade wreck shit show of a match. Ding! Tanahashi takes the L. Just one side note on the road to this match, there's one match that I wanted to talk about, and that was the KOPW title match between Hanare and Shingo Takagi. This went about 37 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So the stip on this match, you had to win by not only pinning your opponent, but you had to have him submit and then have him not answer the 10 count. So obviously this was going to be a match that was going to take a little bit, and both guys laid into each other. I thought this was Hanare's easily his best match. To me, this, like you said, it's freshen things up. You're making new stars. This at least makes me think Hanare could be someone that is credible moving forward. Not screaming world heavyweight title. Hell, I don't know if I'm even screaming never open weight title. Maybe U.S. title. Maybe KOPW. Definitely feels like it's in play. Neither here nor there. I thought that Hanare had a really good match. Like I said, I thought this was his best match that he's had since he's come back, since he's been in United Empire. I thought this was a chance to show all his fucking capabilities. And, Shingo. So, what you really gonna do? You said you watched the match. What'd you think of it?
Oh, man, this was one of there was a lot of really good matches last week. Obviously, it's WrestleMania. And,
no shit.
Without hyperbole, like one of the best WrestleManias of all time. And this was like, you could argue it was better than anything we saw. Arguably, different strokes for different folks, but it was on that level. It was on that level of a WrestleMania main event. Of just like, it was weirdly creative. Like, the stip sounds funny. Like, you have to pin, you have to submit, and you have to knock out your opponent. But that's kind of the KOPW. But the fact that they made that work, and just how hard hitting this match was, and it felt like a fight.
Right.
Like an actual prize fight. And, Shingo's elevating that KOPW title, which was a total joke. But he's making it must-see TV. That elevated Hanare, like you said, 100%. I feel like, maybe never open weight guy. I feel like he'd be a really good fit for that. I think, and it elevated him in the fans' eyes too. He was getting a much bigger reaction on that Sakura Genesis show. He was getting big pops. Because people had seen that match and they were super into it. So, go out of your way. Not all the Road 2 shows are always awesome, but this thing absolutely ruled, and it did not feel like 37 minutes.
No.
It just felt like watching. It felt like watching it felt like watching a web video of like some dudes fighting, and then you're like, "Holy shit! I've been watching this for almost 40 minutes."
Yeah, it did not feel like 37 minutes. It flew right by, honestly. And this comes from the guy that watches from start to finish. So I mean, this was at the end of basically it was a Raw. It was like 2:50, I think, was the running time, and the last 40 minutes was basically this match. It just flew right by. I mean, they got after it, and like I said, to me, Hanare got over while Shingo went over. If that makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't, then I don't know what to tell you. But to me, like I said, it makes me look at Hanare differently. And then obviously, like you said, when he came out early in that 6-man tag, I thought fans responded to him differently. So, things are looking up for Hanare. I think, overall, you get Will Ospreay back here because obviously, quick side note, they totally forgot about that. So obviously, New Japan just announced a 4-man tournament. On one side, you have Juice Robinson versus Lance Archer. On the other side, you will have Tanahashi versus Will Ospreay. The two winners will meet each other, and then the winner of that match will meet Kenny Omega at Dominion. I believe Dominion is June this year. Sounds right. I can't remember the exact date, but June feels like it's right. So I'll put your feet to the fire before we move to the 2 count. Who faces Kenny Omega at Dominion?
Is it the 4-man, and then they face him at Dominion?
Ospreay faces Tanahashi. Juice Robinson faces Lance Archer. The winner of those 2 matches face off against each other, and then the winner of that match gets Kenny Omega at Dominion.
Kenny at Dominion. Okay. I mean, I feel like it's Will Ospreay because I feel like they're going to be trading, but also at the same time, I feel like maybe we pump the brakes on that, and depending, I feel like for me. And granted, this is New Japan booking New Japan, right? They're booking their title.
Right.
But they are partners with AEW. But I feel like for me, if you're doing Wembley Stadium and you're going to have New Japan talent, I think you headline with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay. And if you don't, it's like Kenny Omega, Okada, right? So those are the top 2 matches that popped into my head. So I feel like that has some bearing on what happens with this. Not saying that they can't have the match at Dominion and say like Ospreay wins the 4-man tournament. Maybe what I would do is Ospreay wins the 4-man tournament, loses again to Kenny at Dominion, but then he basically kind of gets to have like the babyface win in the headliner in Wembley. That's probably what I would do. His redemption story.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. I didn't take it the next step to the Wembley portion of the program, and I can totally see that happening. That makes way too much sense. Speaking of Wembley, let's talk some AEW. Let's get to that 2 count. 2 beer. You know what to do. Talk about AEW.
Oh man, I feel like so much has happened between everything for my week, but Rampage was pretty decent. It was Rampage Battle of the Belts. Not a whole lot. I'm scrolling through my notes here as far as newsworthy stuff.
Well, I was going to say I like Anna Jay's new catchphrase. I got a fat ass and a bad attitude. I had to rewind that 2 times to make sure I heard that shit right. I was like, "What the fuck did this?" What?
Yeah, she's got a new T-shirt.
Shit, I might have to go out and get that T-shirt, man. Goddamn, shit. I might never wear it, but I mean, shit. The fact that she says it and repeats it, she could get some of my money.
Yeah, but there was a pretty fun opener with Hook defeating Ethan Page, the longest Hook match you've ever seen. But I thought it was good. Ethan Page, good opponent for him. But it was like a Falls Count Anywhere, no DQ match. That was pretty fun if you like that kind of thing. Jericho Appreciation Society and the Acclaimed, we got that little story. Like, they came out and beat some jobbers. Couldn't even tell you who they were, but essentially, like,
Right.
they then turned on the Acclaim. And so, we got that happening, which we all saw coming, but at least maybe that, I don't know. I feel like there's always somebody, which makes sense. Jericho Appreciation Society exists, so therefore they're usually going to be in some program, like, but I just don't feel like there's these long-term feuds. So I feel like Acclaim's not necessarily getting back in that title picture anytime soon, so they're stuck in Jericho Appreciation Society land for a while. I don't know. I don't know what you think about that, but that's kind of what I felt. No,
I was glad that at least it didn't go, to the point where the Acclaimed was like, no, we're not going to join. And then, obviously that's where we're going. The heels were just smart enough to be like, you know what, fuck you. We're not even going to give you the chance to turn us down. We're just going to jump you. So at least in that scenario, as much as I'm not a huge fan of this angle, I'll give at least creative credit to where they're like, you know what, the heels are smart enough to see that the Acclaimed are fucking with them, and they have been fucking with them. So you know what, this is what you get. This is when fuck around meets finds out. So in that scenario, okay, fair enough. I ain't got a problem with it.
Right on. Yeah, speaking of Anna Jay, she was in the main event against Julia Hart. Neither of these women are main event ready. But,
right.
They gave them the shot. They gave them the opportunity. Rampage very much does come off as like a B show, but this is not necessarily main event material. So that's really kind of all I have to say about that.
I agree. Julia Hart won by a little fuckery, black mist to the eyes, and then gets the roll-up win. So, I mean, it was what it was. I agree with you. They gave him the shot. I think this is part of the problem why ultimately Rampage doesn't feel like must-see TV, because it doesn't feel like if you missed any of these matches, it's like you're kicking your own ass. You know what I'm saying? Darby versus Lee Moriarty was good, but it ultimately sets up Swerve, attacking Darby Alley, or at least, announcing he's was it the merger between Mogul Affiliates and the Embassy, so it's Mogul Embassy, whatever. Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, my reaction for that angle is basically, I don't care. And this is how, as much as they're trying to make me care, I don't care. And that's part of the problem with Rampage. It never really, it takes the Dynamite storylines, but it doesn't have that same must-see feel, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. It never feels like it's something that you have to watch. And, even when they did that best of 7 with the Elite and Death Triangle, they did that 7 times, and not one of them was on Rampage.
Yeah.
Not a single one.
Yeah, that's the shit that you need to have on Rampage, and then have, matches around it, but at least one. Maybe there might have been one, but if there was, it was only one. No, there wasn't one.
Okay. I remember, because I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. But so we had Battle of the Belts right afterwards. This is kind of like a 2-hour situation, but really something that I think that they're doing really well. There's a lot of shit that happens in AEW. There's a lot of things going on. I think one thing they're doing really, really well, this international championship with Orange Cassidy. He's on all of these shows every single week. He's like an absolute workhorse. The people love him, and he really makes that title like kind of mean something. And they're telling a pretty fun story. Like, he's falling apart,
right,
because he's on these shows every single week.
Right.
It's really taking a toll on him. But he had really good match with Dralistico,
mm-hmm.
which set up afterwards. Set up, Buddy Murphy for Wednesday, which we can talk about here in a moment. But really fun opener for a Battle of the Belts, which are usually pretty missable, honestly. Like, I was very excited. This is like the 6th one.
Mm-hmm.
The cards are usually on paper pretty missable, and then sometimes they'll surprise you and be like a pretty good show. But yeah, nothing super. This kind of felt like maybe a Rampage that you wish you would have watched, but it's not necessarily a huge deal that you missed. Right?
No, I agree.
That's kind of what the Battle of the Belts felt like.
No, I agree. The opener with Drew Listico versus Orange Cassidy, I thought was the best match of the night, and that's the scary part about it. I couldn't agree with you more about Orange Cassidy. As funny as the All Atlantic title sounded, the international title, at least sounds a little better, but, it kind of sounds like Intercontinental. And almost, if you're not careful, you could easily mix the two up. The story is Orange.
If Jim Ross is on commentary, he's calling
Christ,
that thing Intercontinental
easily. just stick to Orange Cassidy. That's basically the story, is that we're watching him break down, and House of Black seemingly is circling over him like vultures, and just they're not getting the title, but they're inflicting damage every time that any of them cross paths with him. So ultimately, he'll drop the title. It's just now we're getting to the point of a long title reign where now who does he drop it to? Interested to see with that, but yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Orange Cassidy is at least might not come away as a world champion anytime soon, but that when you see Orange Cassidy moving forward, it ain't going to be easy beating Orange Cassidy. So in that scenario, this title reign is getting him over in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not like a world beater, but he can win pretty much any match. And, some he does like dominantly, but he usually, he's not a big guy. He usually sneaks him in there with the mousetrap. And, that's all fine.
No, one guy that you don't want to see if you're a champion, God forbid, in a non-title match, he can sneak a title win. That's how I think he gets title matches. He's not going to be the biggest. He's not going to be, throwing guys over the top, but he'll steal a win from guys who will underestimate him, and that's basically his character, his gimmick, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, totally. So usually with like a Battle of the Belts, I would just say just give me some title matches, right? That's all I really care about.
Right.
I did like this segment, this Mark Briscoe segment, where Jay Lethal comes out and Mark Briscoe's talking, and it was like, imagine if there's like a hitchhiker, right? You pull over and you see maybe a dude that you knew, you're like, oh, I think I recognize that guy. Looks like he needs the ride. And then you pull over hey, you need a ride? He's like, oh yes, thanks. And then he says, hey guys, we got a ride. And then four other dudes come over the embankment, and all of a sudden they're jumping in the back of your truck, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't sign up for this.
No
That's
shit.
What it felt like. Mark
the look on his face is like, what the fuck? I'm like, man,
Lethal,
damn.
Lethal basically just tricked him into this, and so he's so then yeah, well, we should team up. That sounds fun. And so then we get Sanjay Dutt, Jeff Jarrett, and Satnam Singh.
They high five behind him. I'm like, oh, damn, Mark. but ultimately, the way I would take it, we're going on a little Mark Briscoe ride. He's not going to be going after a title anytime soon, seemingly, because obviously he just lost to Samoa Joe. Claudio seems like he's going to be entangled with Eddie Kingston for the foreseeable future. So you're going to have, he's not going to be a tag team with anybody, so you got to give him something to do. This is giving him something to do.
Yeah, no, this is totally fine, and I was very entertained by it. Next championship match we had was Jade Cargill defending against Billy Starks, who is a very young wrestler. The most amazing thing, when I saw this on paper, I'm like, oh my god, Jade's just going to squash this poor girl. She sold the shit out of her. It was the most, I feel like I've seen Jade Cargill sell for anybody.
No, go ahead, finish.
Yeah, she beat her. I mean, I'm not saying she won, which wasn't a huge surprise, but Billy Starks was 18. But yeah, I feel like it was a fun match. I liked it.
So, friend of the show, Tinder Mahal, he's watched this match apparently. I guess I was one of the last to watch it, and was not a fan, and is not a fan of Jade Cargill, basically saying that she is not very good in the ring. Thoughts on Jade Cargill? Because obviously she is the TBS champion, undefeated, Apparently, the rumor is that we're still waiting for Chris Statlander to get healthy. I'll just make it a two-part question because I was talking about this on Twitter. Is Jade being hurt waiting for Chris Statlander to come back? And then, like I said, just your overall thoughts on Jade in the ring. Do you think she is as bad as Joey says she is?
She's not good, and I'm not saying that this is a good match because she was good. I just like that she was doing more selling because there were some funky spots in here.
Right.
Because Billy's very young, and
right.
Jade is not very good.
But the fact that Billy Starks has more in-ring experience than Jade was the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh, this could get clunky.
100%, and that's what it boils down to is just the experience. Like Jade Cargill is somebody that needs house shows, and she needs to not just be squashing chicks in 30-second matches or whatever, because that's the biggest problem is you can't get your reps. You can't learn how to sell. You can't learn how to tell a story and build a match if you're just out there squashing. And that's what they had her do for the first year. And she's definitely got star power. She definitely has potential. She just needs reps. And they seem to get that belt off of her. Like, she's just not... She kind of is the modern Goldberg in the sense that she's not very good, and she's got this like streak going. That was
right.
Goldberg.
Right.
He was not good, really arguably never good, like as far as like a wrestler. But he was an absolute star. And I don't know what it is. She ain't Goldberg as far as like star power, but need to do something. Maybe it's Chris Statlander. In my head, I've been saying this for a while. I feel like it should be Willow Nightingale.
Hey, man. Couldn't agree with
Chris
you. Chris
Statlander would also be fine.
I agree.
Or just have Britt take it off of her. I
don't know if that feels like it's, I almost hate to say it, but it feels like it's almost beneath Britt. But that could be just me just saying it because I always feel like Britt's in the title picture because Tony puts her in the title picture. I agree. I agree with Willow Nightingale. I thought she could have been the one to take it off of Jade. If you really want Chris, I don't understand this whole Chris Statlander thing. I've never understood it. If this is, plans have to change at some point. I mean, this is not doing Jade any good. If it would be, to me, it would be different if, like you said, if there were prolonged matches against women that felt like they were legitimate threats to her title and she would win. It would be kind of like Gunther. Okay. If Gunther ran around and squashed everybody but was squashing the Madcap Mosses of the world, nobody would give a fuck about Gunther's fucking undefeated streak, and that's kind of what's happened. This is no disrespect to anybody that Jade has beaten, but they've never really put up a real credible threat more times than not. Out of 10 women, I would say 2 were credible enough to where you're like, oh, shit. Like, Willow Nightingale is a great example. Someone that you could look at and be like, oh, Jade might be having a little trouble with this tonight. I don't understand what the deal is with Chris Statlander. I get it. She's good. But, I mean, to hold up an entire title of Jade's development because you want Chris Statlander to win this, that makes no sense to me. Zero sense to me. Fuck it. I'll hit it the home button myself. Shit.
He's heating up.
I never understood it. I just don't get it. Is it that big a deal? Or am I just
I don't
tripping?
know. I don't know if it's that at all. I'd actually never heard that personally. I just thought that they just didn't want to beat Jade because they just wanted her to be Goldberg or whatever. But yeah.
Okay, whatever. What was next? Finish it up.
I actually didn't watch the main event, but it was Lucha Brothers versus Powerhouse Hobbs and QT Marshall. I just couldn't get through it.
Obviously, Lucha Brothers went over. You missed very little. It was kind of the I won't call it the wet fart part of the program, but you knew who was going to win. There were some decent spots. One part, I think there was. I can't remember how they had a really good false finish to where you might have thought QT and Powerhouse Hobbs were going to win it, but ultimately Lucha Brothers retained. Who was in the crowd? I can't think who was in the crowd. I would have to look on Twitter, but neither here nor there. Lucha Brothers retained. It wasn't. this entire thing is nothing that you have to go out and see unless you like Orange Cassidy or Jalisco. Outside of that, fairly missable Battle of the Belts.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like most of them. But pretty good. There's some fun stuff. It was especially awesome. If you've ever seen Darby Allin and Swerve Strickland wrestle, like for instance in Defy, you know that you are in for a treat. And man, these guys just delivered quite the opener. This was quite the curtain jerker.
Oh shit!
And after this, so basically just kind of like an overarching thing. What happened? Allen and Swerve had this excellent match, and then Allen just sneaked out a pin. What's he call that thing? The Last Supper. Orange Cassidy's got the mousetrap. He's got the Last Supper, so he barely eked out a pin. These guys had an excellent match. He ekes out a pin. MJF comes down. They get into a promo battle. Sting comes down, and then there's like kind of a three-way promo battle. That's like kind of the segment at large. Very good overall for all of it. Excellent match, and then with that, I think you had Jack Perry watching in the back, doing the Bret Hart thing, like watching the TV in the back. But, out of all of the four pillars, because this is kind of what they're doing, they're opening the shows with matches, and they're getting wins, and then we're setting them up in promo battles with MJF. We're talking via text. I don't know how much you guys talked about it on the podcast last week. Our text conversations are blending with the podcast, but I know Bill was joking that the four pillars, including MJF, are like the Lollipop Guild. And,
that was on the pod.
Okay, yeah, and him and Tinder were kind of talking about how it's not main event like pay-per-view type stuff, which in one instance I kind of agree with. Their singles match is going to be better as far as like a better draw, and probably like maybe a better match. I don't know. We'll see. But it is an experiment. It is something that I think is worth doing because AEW has these great pay-per-views, and I feel like they have enough goodwill to where people will buy this as a full-on four-way main event. Like, I think people will buy it as a main event, but it is a little different. And I know Joey was saying how Jack Perry hasn't had a singles title, but for me, for all of them, Darby feels like the biggest. I feel like if you just
feels
wanted
like
to
the
make
biggest?
it one of them, Darby, and that's the only time that you would say Darby feels like the biggest because he's not big in any way. But as far as the
absolute fucking bullshit.
He's doing a really good job with his promos. Like his promos, like on his own, he's been doing really, really well.
Right.
He has excellent matches. He's had an excellent match with MJF in the past, and that's the same thing with Jack. They've had an excellent match before. He's done pretty good with his promos too. That's his weakest thing, but he's hanging in there. And Sammy's Sammy, and I feel like putting them all four together, this is an experiment to see if it can draw, which is I think a worthwhile experiment. They're doing well, and there is going to be some undercard shit that's going to draw as well. But I think the match is going to surprise a lot of people. I think just imagine what Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin are going to be willing to do in a main event of a pay-per-view for a world heavyweight title. And this is also coming off MJF's best match of his career, one of the best matches of the year. So, I don't know. Kind of getting away from the segment, but all of this leads up.
Well, no, because, ultimately, it's, double or nothing is the payoff, and that was going to be my follow-up question. Do you think this is going to, because it feels like it has fatal four-way vibes, even when, like you said, Darby Allin in the ring this week, Jungle Boy in the ring the week before. You know, I think I can't remember if Sammy had the same scenario. I think he did, where, you know, Sammy was in the ring and the other two guys were watching him. I'm pretty sure that was on either Rampage or Dynamite. So I mean, they're all interconnected, and MJF is the centerpiece of the whole thing, so to speak. That's their, you know, their interconnective tie, or whatever the case may be. So it feels like Fatal 4-Way. So that was going to be my follow-up question. Do you think it sticks to this path moving forward, and then the payoff is a Fatal 4-Way at Double or Nothing?
Yep, I feel like that's what they've been building since that promo battle where they all stood in corners of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what's happening. And granted, I know that multi-man matches are not some people's cup of tea, and I do think that I think it's worthwhile experimenting, because you got to take risks. Like, you know, I don't want to beat a dead horse or talk out of both sides of my mouth. I don't want to say it's different in one promotion than it is in another, even though there are different situations. But like, people aren't ever going to be on top or be seen as top guys unless you give them an opportunity. It's the same thing on a smaller scale with that Anna Jay Julia Hart thing. Like, yeah, they're not main eventers, but like, you give them an opportunity on the B show that not a ton of people are watching. Maybe they pull something out. You know, maybe they elevate themselves. They didn't, but I think like these guys absolutely could. I think they have the potential to do it.
No, I couldn't agree more. At some point, you're going to have to figure it out. Obviously, MJF is one of the pillars. He's on top. You're going to have to figure out, can Jungle Jack Perry talk? You're going to have to figure out, can Darby Allin talk? You're going to have to figure out, can Sammy can have his heat and still cut promos as well. I think this is a litmus test for all three of these guys to see if they are going to be world heavyweight champion. Can they do these certain things? I don't think there's a question about in-ring, and that's just me. Obviously, if Bill was here, he'd probably be losing this shit. But I think all four of these guys in the ring can do the deal. Size-wise aside, MJF's not a tall guy. He's done the one thing that you were kind of supposed to do as a champion, and he bulked himself up. I have no problem with that. I totally feel that that's what you're supposed to do. He now at least looks more of the part of the world heavyweight champion, even though he's not a tall individual. Darby Allin doesn't look like world heavyweight champion. Jungle Boy doesn't look like world heavyweight champion. And Sammy doesn't look like a world heavyweight champion. They can wrestle like nobody's business. They can wrestle, you know, a Bryan Danielson and, you know, have a really good match, but nobody looks at these guys the way that they kind of look. And some don't look at MJF like that as a world heavyweight champion. So I think this is an ultimate litmus test to see if these guys can do it. Quick sidebar. We talked about it off air, so let's kind of talk about it on air right now. It feels like this might be a time where they're kind of circling the plane until one Phil Brooks, a.k.a. CM Punk, comes back. The rumor is out where he is probably coming back around June. I think the date is the 21st. It feels right. Wembley, obviously, close on deck, and then they would have a show in Chicago subsequently thereafter. Our thoughts on CM Punk, well documented. Let's just cut to the chase. A, do you think it's going to happen? And B, is it the right call?
Oh man, I feel like I should have been ready for this because I've been thinking about it. But yeah, like you said, thoughts are well documented. Is it going to happen? Even without this like kind of latest rumor mill and without like hit punks like Instagrams and things like that, I would have said that the longer time goes on, the more likely it is to happen, right? Because people cool off. People forget. People see dollar signs that can be made,
right? And
they are more likely to acquiesce. I do think it's funny that Punk is like kind of putting the narrative out there, like, "Oh, I'm willing to work with the elite," and it's like, yeah, like I bet you are. Like you're the asshole. Like it's not like whether you're willing to do like like business. Like,
I was like,
it's kind of
motherfucker, shit is still going on without you. Okay, there's storylines going on whether you are here or not. But you're willing to play ball now. Oh, okay, cool. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
He's like the guy who like got thrown out of the bar, and he's like, "Well, I was just like wanting to drink," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know you wanted to drink. Like, you can't be in here. You're like being obnoxious. Like, you got to go." Like, yeah, but like I'm willing to like just sit down and like have my drink now. And it's like, no, you already acted a fool. Like, you gotta go. I'm gonna call the cops. Like,
You say, I'm willing to act right now. My fault, y'all. I'm sorry. Nah, nigga, you got to go.
yeah. So I don't know. So I do think that the longer we have, and you know, cooler heads can prevail. There's a lot of money to be made,
right.
And there's a very fun story to tell. Like, I mean, if you went like full heel mode and just had CM Punk, like, you know, he's going to come back to a pop, but if you have him come back and like be a heel and he'll like just act out the story and he'll be like, I'm willing to have a match with you if you guys all come in the ring and apologize to me.
Right.
You know, just like do some shit like that. Yeah.
Okay. That's just for
CM Punk.
Right.
Like, work it.
Yeah, that's where as much as I think it would be a mistake, because ultimately I think the track record of CM Punk speaks for itself. You bring him in and ultimately it implodes. But in the short term, if we're just, you know, talking about the next, you know, what month is this? April. So the next 8 months to finish the year, it would make sense, especially when you have big pay-per-views coming up. If you really want to truly sell out Wembley Stadium, you're going to want to have CM Punk involved in that. I didn't think that they wanted to truly sell it out. I think the fact that they got it should have been a victory into itself. Now it feels like they want to try to sell this 90,000 venue out, which would be even a bigger accomplishment. I mean, this is not even a WWE conversation.
I don't even think WWE can sell it out. I mean, it's going to be a financial success regardless, but I think they absolutely want to make a statement, and that would make a statement. And yeah, having Punk on the show is better than not having Punk on the show. Who do you have Punk wrestle if he is in that Wembley Stadium show, or if he comes back? Because, you know, MJF is certainly an option,
right?
But I would almost do that in Chicago.
Yeah, I was going to say you want to hold off on that. Obviously, Omega's a definite possibility. Maybe Adam Cole, baby.
I'm thinking either because Omega, I feel like it'd be better to have him with Ospreay, because I feel like you want Ospreay on there because of the British connection, and if Ospreay's wrestling, you want him to wrestle Omega.
Right.
But I mean, just do a Hangman Page, CM Punk. You could do Jericho Punk too, I think. Just because they're big stars.
I think Hangman might be busy around that same time, but we could talk about that in a second. I was going to say Punk coming back will throw a kind of a wrench into things, because it feels like they have kind of storylines building to Wembley. I think Punk would kind of come in and be like, fuck your shop. Fuck your couch.
I know.
Fuck your couch.
Yeah. I know Dax is trying to and Punk versus the Elite. Like, that's what he's trying to push for, because he's like, that's the shit that he's saying on his podcast and stuff.
I mean,
but
you know, it would just, you know, encompass everything in one fell swoop. I mean, I don't think you have to kind of blur the lines between, you know, shooting kayfabe style in this scenario. And that's, I think if you line that match up and you said this is going to be a match, I think people would be like, fuck it, you know, I want to see this shit. So in this scenario, I don't think you would have to have a quote unquote storyline for it. I just think that it would be, you know, fuck, you've been talking about this match. Here's the return of CM Punk, and this is how we're going to do it. You can kind of protect his old fragile ass with FTR by his side and still have a match with the Elite and give everybody what they want, one fell swoop. So there you go. Like I said, I think it's a mistake, but if you're going to do it, then fuck it. Let's just go ahead and sell this fucking Wembley Arena out, sell out all in or whatever the case may be.
I have mixed feelings because I have mixed feelings because I'm the same way. I think it's a mistake, but at the same time, like, we have not, like, it's just like so fun to talk about.
Because if for the short term, if he does come back, the possibilities are endless. Now you can get Punk and MJF the way you were supposed to. The firm might actually have, something to do besides, just being squashed left and right and have a big bill as their heater. There's plenty of opportunities, obviously, with the Elite. So, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, tick, 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 tick. Go ahead. What's next?
Let's see. So after that whole confrontation, we had, Powerhouse Hobbs gets to the arena. He pulls up in a dope-ass car and absolutely squashes Silas Young, man.
Yeah.
Just no, 2-minute squash on Silas Young. Who's a really good wrestler.
Right.
Definitely not just a squash match job guy, but
not at all.
He was tonight or last night. And main thing though was not that. Immediately forgot about the squash whenever the camera goes outside and Wardlow takes a bat or a pipe or something to this car. Starts beating the shit out of it, and then he goes all stone cold and takes a forklift and flips it over. Absolutely nuts. Fun stuff. I mean, that's fun pro wrestling. And as soon as Powerhouse Hobbs pulled up in that car, I was like, Wardlow's going to destroy this car.
Yeah.
Because, why else?
I'm just God damn, that motherfucker look nice. That get ready to get banged up, ain't it? Somebody going to fuck this car clean up. I can't wait. No, it wasn't even all that exciting. That was definitely a foreshadowing of Wardlow's appearance on the show. Obviously getting his little receipt on Powerhouse Hobbs.
Dude, he powerbombed Aaron Solo, then he came out and ran wild. Powerbombed Aaron Solo off the stage, and there was 2 tables outside. Solo only went through one of them.
Yeah.
They were next to each other, and then he slammed his back of his head on the second one. Oh my God, that looked brutal.
Yeah, that was
so many guys hitting their heads this week.
Oh shit! I was going to say that I tripped off of that too because the camera angle where you could see Solo on the ground, one table was crushed, the other table was just sitting there hey, I still get paid for this shit, right? So in that scenario, I was like, yeah, that's a rough little bump. Obviously, Wardlow was going to come back. QT or QTV was a part of, I guess, to make him look, be more of a sympathetic babyface. I thought if you saw QT or QTV this week when I guess the Ashley chick was like, go break a leg to QT Marshall, and QT Marshall was like, who am I, Dante Martin? I was like, oh man, that's some fucked up shit. So I mean, in that scenario, I get it. That it was designed to, elicit response and make Wardlow feel more sympathetic. I don't know if he wasn't gone long enough, but I still wasn't okay, it's good to have Wardlow back. He did what, a babyface was supposed to do. You stole the title from me, so now I'm going to start tearing your shit up. Okay, I get that. But now, next week, there's already a title match? I'm like, damn, okay. I guess now it's once again, it's do or die. And they put Wardlow in a spot where I think you could have built this up a little more, kick the can down the line. Because now, if Wardlow wins, you kind of fucked up Powerhouse Hobbs. If Wardlow loses, you're fucking up Wardlow even more. I don't know. Am I tripping, or am I thinking of overthinking this?
No, I just think Wardlow's in a tough spot, and he has been ever since he cooled off after the MJF thing. He was white hot there, man, and it's just, yeah. That's pretty bonkers. I don't know. That is tough because
we love us some Tony Khan here. Yeah, we love us some Tony Khan here, but I've never understood how you took the gas off of Wardlow. I've never understood it. He should still, if somebody should be dominating with a mid-card title at this point and then set him up to MJF, it should be Wardlow. That's the end game, baby. MJF Wardlow should be on the radar. It should, for me, if you gave your boy the pencil, that's how MJF loses the title, to Wardlow. That's just me.
Yeah. I mean, even if, like, they should have some kind of interaction, whether, even if it's just a TV match, you know, like, he doesn't even need a title. Just
you're cross-passing the back.
Have him do the stupid MJF thing where, you know, like, he comes out, he calls out MJF and says, like, they can show the video, the replay of the match. Like, Wardlow will be like, hey, I got a little something to show you, Max. And it's just the match. It ain't gonna take long. It wouldn't take long. Wouldn't take up much TV time. They could show, you know, him dominating and be like, I want my title shot. And, you know, if Jeff can do his stupid, I'll give it to you if you do X, X, Y, and Z. Wardlow does all that. And then they have a TV match for the title or whatever, you know, trying to pop a rating and, you know, and then have Wardlow lose to some fuckery. Like, that's fine. Like, at least give him what was due from that in kayfabe. At least then he's doing something. He's fighting for the world title, because fighting for the world title is still something, right? As Cody was reminded by his friend Matt, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But yeah, there was a quick video package that we should mention. Keith Robinson, who, aka the Bang Bang Gang, which is pretty funny, and they're basically saying that they're having Bullet Club Gold. So I imagine this is setting up for some Forbidden Door stuff. Right. But yeah, like, I do agree with Bill's take last week that Jay White should not just be hanging out with Juice Robinson and be like Juice Robinson's buddy, even though this is a continuation of a larger wrestling storyline. I think the best thing for Jay White to be doing is to be, like, in the title picture, right? As separated, like, challenging MJF, right? Like, that's kind of the money match for Double or Nothing. I did say I like the experiment of the 4-way. I enjoy that, but you got to, Jay White is that guy that comes in, and especially just imagine the promo interactions between the two of them. They can set up a title match, no pressure at all.
Let's stick with Jay White for 30 seconds, because that was the running argument last week. Joey jumped on the train and said that Jay White wouldn't have been a mover of the needle if he showed up on the Raw after WrestleMania. Do you agree that he would not have been a needle mover if he showed up the night after WrestleMania?
I mean, the Raw audience is not going to know who he is. It's not like AJ or something. Right. They just wouldn't. Would they be pretty quick to find out? And could Jay White present himself in a way to where, like, he comes across as like an absolute star, badass? I think absolutely. But just as far as like the entrance and like the introduction, I think most people watching and in the stands would just be like, who the fuck is this guy? And that's not Jay White's fault.
I'm going to have to kind of disagree, because I think the Raw after WrestleMania is a smarky crowd, and I think if there was the time to do it, that was the time to do it. I don't think it would have been a scenario where he'd have came in and people would have been like, who's the fuck is Jay White? People know at least the name of who Jay White is, and in that scenario where you got all kinds of people from around the world, I don't think Jay White would have came out to crickets by any stretch of the imagination. Now, from that point, I guess we haven't really talked about it. Obviously, Jay White, well, you hadn't had a chance to talk about it. Jay White obviously signed with AEW last week, so that takes one player off of the WWE chessboard for their long-term plans. Do you think AEW was the best spot for him to land? Because obviously rumors abound that Vince is taking back creative control, and that was rumored to be a part of the reason why Jay White went to AEW versus going to WWE. So, once again, I'm going to put you on the spot. Did Jay White make the right call?
It's tough because I think, as far as maybe stylistically fulfilling and as far as like the audience and stuff, yeah, I think he did. Who knows how much money WWE offered him.
Right.
But timing wise, just with all this Vince stuff, and especially with speaking of the Raw after WrestleMania, was just how bad that show was. And obviously it was because Vince was in charge of it, and, he wasn't at the shows more recently, but, it's, there's that uncertainty, for sure. And the other side of it is with AEW, they have so many guys, he could eventually, unfortunately just be another guy on the roster. Like, even if he is placed well, there's just so many guys, right? But he does, I think with AEW, he has the opportunity to tie into New Japan,
right,
and go to Japan.
Right.
And that's something that he would not be able to do with WWE.
Right.
So, I would say maybe it's this call. That's what I want to see. Like, I'd rather have him in AEW, but that's me.
Now, if the rumors about Vince being back in control are true, and like I said last week, I'll take it with a grain of salt. If he's back, the only good part about it is the Bloodline storyline is going to still be good. The rest, everybody else is fending for themselves. If I'm Jay White, and I even think that's a remote possibility, it makes a lot more sense to sign with AEW, even if you have to take less money. His his wife is here. It does, like you said, it does give you the ties to New Japan if you want to go over to New Japan or go anywhere else for that matter and have matches that could possibly come up from, angles or storylines that's on AEW television. So, yeah, I don't necessarily, if you asked me this a month ago, like I said, I was all about him going to WWE, but him going to AEW does make sense. But like you said, he's running the risk of being a part of the sauce versus being the actual meat in the gumbo, so to speak.
Yeah.
The enduring sausage, if you will.
Moving on, just so brevity's sake, George Cassidy, Buddy Matthews now. They had an excellent match. Again, told an excellent story. Cassidy's hand, is all jacked up, and that was kind of like the main story.
Right.
And you knew that these guys would have an excellent match, but they absolutely did. George Cassidy won with a mousetrap, barely eked it out. So we're getting to somebody's going to take that title off of Orange. It's going to happen eventually. We'll just have to wait and see.
You think he makes it to Double or Nothing?
I don't know. He's on TV every damn week. Double or Nothing's not too far away, so maybe.
I think he makes it. I think he makes it to Double or Nothing. I don't think he's going. At some point, they'll give him a week off and not have him defend the title, but he'll be on TV, and somebody will catch him slipping, and he'll lose it at Double or Nothing. That's my guess.
Right on. Who do you think he should lose it to?
Somebody that's on the come up that I would like to see him drop the title to. I don't see anybody that's a heel that I really, really like. A part of me was like Brody King feels like the guy that's going to ultimately, because it feels like the House of Black is circling around him, and every time you look up, even after this match against Buddy Matthews, you can kind of see like Julia Hart, giving OC the stink eye or whatever, motherfucker, this ain't done yet. I think it's going to be one of the House of Black guys. One of them be a double champion. Fuck it, I'll go with Brody King.
That's a really fun answer. I think Brody King or Malachi Black would be fun in that regard.
I'm sure I'm totally off.
I mean, I like that. I was thinking maybe Adam Cole.
Okay. I think Adam Cole is going to be tied up with somebody else going to that double or nothing portion of the program, but I don't have a problem with it. I mean, Adam Cole needs to kind of, get hot again, feel important. I don't necessarily think the title would make him feel important. I think beating Orange Cassidy at this point, kind of puts him back on the map because Orange Cassidy is, like you said, white hot. Adam Cole is just coming off an injury. So, I mean, Daniel Garcia is a good start, beating Orange Cassidy for a title. You got people's attention. I've heard worse ideas.
I guess, yeah, I imagine, Cole and Jericho will be the double or nothing match.
That's my guess.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get another. Well, actually, here's something worth watching on Rampage tomorrow night. So you'll probably listen to this. If you listen, you'll probably. So tonight on Rampage, you should watch versus Aussie Open. That's probably going to be fantastic.
Who'd you say was placing Aussie Open?
Best Friends.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was the Best Friends segment. That should be. Okay, see, there you go. That's the kind of match I want to see. I would assume Aussie Open would go over, but I don't know. Best Friends are good enough to where I could actually see them, especially under the AEW flag, winning that match.
Yeah. So, especially, they've got history in Japan. And, I don't know. It's going to be really, really good, though. I mean, Best Friends has a 5-star TV match, tag match already.
No guys
anyway, the next segment, I don't want to go in depth, but I just want to talk about how fucking stupid it was. Ethan Page, was talking about the firm and, Matt Hardy and all this, and then Hardy, comes out with Isaiah Cassidy and talked about contract manipulation. Nobody knows what's going on here, and this was the most convoluted, dumb shit on the entire show. This is an absolute mess. So, but I will say it led into a Jeff Hardy return. The return was not good either. It was just he comes out with a chair and Big Bill just bends over and lets him hit him with the chair, and it was just I don't know if he did it just because he didn't want to sell for Hardy, or what. I don't know, or if it was because usually Big Bill's pretty good, but this looked like shit. Jeff Hardy did not look good. Just killed Isaiah Cassidy with a swanton bomb. I know the crowd loved it, and they will. They're going to hear that. And I wish the best for him, but I just don't need to see him on TV anymore. I don't know. What do you think about Jeff Hardy return?
I think that was Lee Moriarty that he almost killed.
Oh, okay.
Neither here nor there. We all look the same. Sorry, you had to be Bill there for 30 seconds. It is what it is. I mean, I guess this was always kind of a thing, and this might be a precursor to CM Punk coming back. Jeff Hardy was definitely not in the best position when we last saw him, and now he's getting another chance to come back, and I'm not even going to say redeem himself, but just, do work on screen, try not to shoot yourself in the foot type shit. The actual physical save was what it was. At least he didn't come out, dance first, and then come down and make the save. He actually was, had some forethought, brought the chair with him, and did what he needed to do. I'm kind of just not a fan of Jeff Hardy. He doesn't do anything for me. So his return was what it was. It's for the fans that do like him. And there are fans that do like him. I mean, shit, I had guys, giving me all kinds of shit because of a take I had on CM Punk. I basically said, I think it would be a mistake for him to come back. And, of course, somebody's got to come out of the woodwork. So there's always going to be fans of guys that I don't like that. Zach doesn't like that. Bill doesn't like, whatever the case may be. But for me in this scenario, it did absolutely nothing for me. I get it. Pop the crowd. Okay, Jeff Hardy's back. Now what?
Yeah, what's going to happen? It's just they weren't doing good. They weren't looking good. Neither one of them can barely walk.
Yeah, and now you're asking them to what? I guess Ethan Page is going to do the job with him against him or whatever. I don't. That none of that appeals to me, man. And everybody knows how I feel about Ethan Page. You know, I think I'm a huge mark for the man or whatever the case may be. So in that scenario, it bothers me to see him in this scenario where he's getting ready to do the job ultimately.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. Blackpool Combat Club destroyed the Elite Geeks. Just destroyed them.
But that's what's supposed to happen, though.
Oh, yeah, you knew it was going to happen. But, yeah, they bled a lot. So, basically, beat them up till Omega came out. And then Young Bucks also came out, ran off Blackpool Combat Club, stabbed a screwdriver into the turnbuckle. This is going to be a very solid pay-per-view match. This is going to be a great draw.
Once again, and I love the fact that it's just you and me on this podcast. Joey O'Farrell, once again, he and I had a conversation, and you immediately came to mind because the Young Bucks, he brought up the Young Bucks, and he said that the Young Bucks cannot tell a story, I think was the correct choice of words. I'll let you rebut that statement from one Tinder Mahal.
Man, I mean, just watch the Young Bucks, I don't know, that's baffling to me because I feel like their storytelling is, layered. There's some matches that are spot fest, but they're absolutely not all of them. Was it Young Bucks versus Kenny and Hangman Page? It was one of the greatest tag team matches of all time. Just layers upon layers of storytelling in that match. I don't know. Maybe just not watching closely enough.
I was thinking I didn't say it because I was just kind of like, okay. I was thinking to myself, please remember for Thursday. And I wasn't thinking of a rebuttal, but I mean, the one that comes up right to mind is the best of seven, them versus them and Kenny versus
super creative, constantly different finishes,
right?
Different matches. Every single one of them was different.
I don't know. Like I said, ultimately, his point was he likes them in ring, but he doesn't think they can tell a story. I was kind of baffled by it because, like I said, when I got off the phone with him, I was like, wait a minute, did he just say what I thought? I was more concerned about make sure I remember this versus did he say what I thought he just said? And then I started to think about it. I was like, well, damn, the best of seven was kind of dope. And I was getting ready to say it to him, but I was like, never mind. It's kind of late anyway, so I just let it go. But I wanted to ask the clearly the Bucks mark of the group. I knew what you were going to say, but I just wanted you to say it for posterity's sake, so that way he can at least think about it. And if he wants to change his mind, so be it. If that's the hill he wants to die on, he could do that as well. What's next?
Let's see. We had Tony Storm, Ruby Soho defeating Rio Sky Blue. Heel's got some new gear. Pretty much, Britt Baker came out for the save afterwards. Really, about all you can say about this. Moving that story forward. Jericho defeated Keith Lee. And then continuing the Adam Cole Jericho feud, basically just kind of like a mirror image of the previous week. But match was okay. A lot of interference from Daniel Garcia, so it wasn't like you think Jericho and him could have a really good match, and they just didn't. I think maybe it was TV, maybe it was the interference. I don't know what it was, but yeah.
No, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I don't think it was as bad as maybe I think you feel like it was. It was somewhere probably in the gray. I look for certain things for Keith Lee. Him doing the moonsault off the second rope. That's what I look for. So I mean, it's good to see that and coming back in Keith Lee's arsenal, whatever the case may be. There were spots that they did miss. So, I do agree with you that it wasn't the cleanest match of the bunch. This is kind of always a pet peeve of mine and just, wrestling in general. Keith Lee kind of needs a little loving right now. And I'm not talking about the me and Yim kind. I'm talking about the Tony Khan kind. I mean, he kind of feels like he's one of those guys that's getting, lost in the shuffle, and I don't think it should be that deep. Now, is it a scenario where he's not having good matches? You're not putting up good storylines? That's another debate for another time. I just think that Keith Lee felt like was the guy that could have won this match. I get why Jericho did, but then, have Jericho go over somebody that still connects him with Adam Cole. I don't even think you needed Keith Lee to do that. It makes it easier to do it because it's a direct path. But I don't know. I just was kind of hoping Keith Lee was going to win this match, and obviously he didn't. And now it feels like, he's going to be a pawn in this this Adam Cole, baby, and Chris Jericho feud. I'll look for more from that. From the women's match, I don't know, and this is just me. I don't know why you say continuation. To me, this is just spinning the wheels. I'm just waiting for them to figure out what the match is that they want to put on and be done with it. Every week it's the same. It's the same women every week. It's, the Outcast spray painting the loser of Riho, Sky Blue, whomever, Willow Nightingale, which pisses me off. Just announce a match. Jamie Hayter's just getting lost in this shuffle. Everybody remember Jamie Hayter. She's your AEW Women's Champion. Can we focus on that? I know they were talking about, we're going, one of us is going to take the title off her. Well, then fucking announce the shit. God damn. Otherwise, or announce the tag team match. Otherwise, this is spinning of the wheels. He doesn't know what the fuck he wants to do, so he's just running the same shit out every week.
Yeah, I mean, I just glossed over it because there's nothing new, right?
It really isn't. And that's a damn shame. And it's back in that same little spot right before the main event, a.k.a. the Jason Steve Bell bathroom break / shower match, depending on where you are in life.
That was Dynamite. That's AEW. So we can move it on to
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say we can move it on to a WWE 3 count before my phone dies.
All right, let's go. I'll pick up the pace. Let's get to that 3 count. Just some quick thoughts on WWE on SmackDown. The one big note, Triple H did come out on SmackDown and announce that there would be a draft coming up somewhere in the next few weeks. Obviously, a date hasn't been announced, but I was thinking to myself, okay, possible things that could happen. Rhea Ripley should be going to SmackDown. The Judgment Day go with. Is this the time to break up the Street Profits? Is this the time to break up Alpha Academy? Things along those lines. If you had the pencil, you could do the one thing only, the very first thing. What's the one move you make to start this WWE draft?
I would get rid of the draft. Say, psych, because
this
whole time WWE has been hot, and been really into it. It's because people just been going back and forth. Like Sammy's on the show, Roman's on the show, KO's on the show. It doesn't matter. People are just on the show. It's fantastic. You don't need a brand split. It screams Vince McMahon. And the draft shows have historically done okay ratings, but the last few haven't because they're just meaningless. Right. It's all just meaningless. I hate it so much. Nothing good is going to come of this.
Strong words. Okay, shit. I was thinking more if Cody would have won, this was a time to then split up the titles hold the second title up, have a tournament, but obviously that's not going to happen. So neither here nor there. Much to do about nothing on SmackDown. Brawling Brutes, Ricochet, Liv, and Raquel, and Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest, all winners in individual matches. Dominic Mysterio, on record, arguably one of the hottest heels of 2023. I'm not saying he's the heel of the year.
Oh my God. So they were in Portland. I was going to buy tickets like Saturday night after WrestleMania night one was so good. I'm like, oh, I'm buying tickets. I'm going to SmackDown. This is great.
Right.
I didn't. And then I went to sleep and I woke up and I watched WrestleMania night 2, which was a very good show, but it just like deflated the shit out of me. And I was like, okay. I was like, maybe this week. And then I watched Raw and it was just terrible. And I was like, I am not buying tickets. And then like SmackDown was like pretty decent though. But just the heat that the Dom got, oh my God, Portland brought it. That was some of the biggest boos I've ever heard, like, a heel get.
They were booing the dog shit out of Dom to the point where he opened Raw on Monday night. I believe that was in Seattle, where our boy is on the way to, and he couldn't get out of a word edgewise when he came out and then interrupt Ray. Obviously, that turned into Finn versus Rey Mysterio. I got to give Finn all kinds of credit. Not only did he get staples in the head in the WrestleMania match, apparently he was going into the WrestleMania match hurt. Grade 2 calf tear or something along those lines. He had a calf injury. If you didn't know he didn't have a calf injury and you watched that match, you would have never known. You just thought he just got his head split open to the white meat. But all credit to Finn Balor. He's never probably going to be that guy, but to me, that just gives me, gives me a different way to look at Finn Balor. He'll never be the champion again, probably, especially if Vince is truly back in charge. But at least Finn Balor is going to be ready to answer the bell, literally and figuratively. Who was it? Lita gets jumped backstage. Nobody knows who it is. Becky and Trish decide they're going to defend the tag team titles. Obviously, they lose to Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. And then, obviously, from that point, you have the Trish Stratus heel turn on Becky Lynch. I'll let you go first. You know what I'm going to say. What'd you think?
Oh, man, I mean, I feel like just nobody gives a shit. I just didn't give a shit. That was my main takeaway. And I'm glad they got it off of Becky and Lita, because Lita just wasn't doing it. But
do you think Trish was better
than Lita?
Yes.
Oh man, like 5 times better.
Me too. Sorry, not sorry. I was like, okay, well, maybe they made a mistake, and maybe that's what we're going to spin off of it. Trish ain't shit. Trish was like, fuck it. Lita ain't shit. This bitch can barely even move. Now all of a sudden, she's a tag team champion. I'm sitting over here just, stewing over this whole thing. That's the only thing. Honestly, I'm glad that experiment is over. Liv and Raquel, hopefully, they'll get booked to where they can do something with it. If not, I don't know. They'll figure something out for both of them. I don't think they'll both go into oblivion, for lack of a better term. But ultimately, this is about Becky and Trish. I want to see she's got to have the why Trish why promo. So I need at least, some sort of, decent answer. And then from that point, you guys have this match. But ultimately, like I said, it all goes back to Damage Control. You took the titles off of them, and now the spinoff begins. Feels like they're going to break up, adding more, fuel to that fire. Bayley has graciously, quote unquote, given up her spot in the triple threat match later on that night to one Io Sky. Io Sky wins said triple threat match. So Io and Bianca Belair down the line somewhere for the WWE Raw Women's title. I'll ask you, is Damage Control done? And are you excited for a Io Bianca match?
Io Bianca would be fantastic, just like in ring. Damage control's probably done. I feel like, they gave him a little bit of a run. They're not getting over too much. I mean, I like the team. I like all the women in it, but as far as like, they're not particularly over. Everything kind of runs its course. They gave it a shot. I'm not going to be angry about them pulling the plug on Damage Control, even though I'm a fan of everyone in it.
No, I think it's kind of ran its mark, especially the way they've booked it. But it was a good try, but it just it ran out of steam really quickly. I'm kind of surprised in that aspect, but neither here nor there. Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed ends in a double countout. I'm not sure what the hell they're doing with that. Bronson Reed feels like a guy you should build up to Bobby Lashley versus having them wrestle each other, but I guess time will tell. Obviously, the big story from Raw on Monday night is Cody calling out Brock Lesnar for a WWE match at Backlash. You didn't get a chance to vent on last week's pod about the Roman Reigns retaining the title. Here's your chance if you want to vent on it, or you could talk about Cody's promo on Monday night, or you can do both, whichever you want to do.
I mean, you guys said a lot what I was thinking. It was just a perfect opportunity, and it feels like that opportunity has been missed, even if he wins, a little bit down the road. I don't think 1,000 days is important. I don't think it matters. I think that the brand is suffering because of stagnation. Like, it's hot because of some programs, but those programs have now, started to kind of run their course. Like Ray and Dom's still hot. Sami Zayn is still hot. And, there's some stuff to tell with the bloodline. There's just so many more interesting stories to be told, and so many more fresh opponents and fresh matches to be had. It just seems like they took I wouldn't say they took a risk in keeping it on Roman. I think that them having it on Roman was always a possibility. I think that they were risk averse, and I don't know, man. It just bummed me out. Just more of the same, and it'd be different if they had told a different story with it. It's the same finish and the same match that we're seeing, every 3 months, because that's all Roman wrestles. It's like every 3 months we see that same match every 3 months, and that's the world title picture. It's just very frustrating because a lot of other stuff in the brand is very hot, and I just feel like they're dropping the ball and they're missing the boat. And it's not about Cody. It's not about Sammy. It's not even necessarily about Roman. It's about the story. Yeah, the bloodline stuff with Sammy was like, that was one of the greatest stories wrestling's ever told. It hit its crescendo, right?
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, you probably have some more story to tell, but I feel like a more intriguing story would be the destruction of the bloodline at WrestleMania.
Right.
They lose all of their championships.
Right.
And then there's infighting. And then if you want to have a redemption, like a Usos redemption, or like bring back Jay versus, you could have the Usos versus Roman and Sikoa. You could have Jay versus Roman. Those are more intriguing stories to me than just the same fucking shit. I was joking with you on text message that Roman is like the evil of WWE. It's a boring ass title reign with interference on every match. Like, it's just killing me. But anyway,
that's funny shit.
With Lesnar, yeah, I mean, that's something that Cody could overcome. I'm excited to watch that match, like Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. That's a big match to me. But you know what would be a bigger match for me? WWE Universal Champion Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar, right? Because then you're like, oh, man, Brock could take this thing off this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just, it's more interesting. It's fresh. It's for more stakes if he would have the title. But I am excited for the match. And I'll, just take what I can get.
I'll ask you the same. No, I totally get it. I'm with the bloodline too. That wherever it goes, I'm gonna watch it regardless. I'll ask you the same question Bill asked me. Does Cody win the title at SummerSlam?
I don't think so.
Okay, fair enough. Usos beats Alpha Academy. Obviously, the aforementioned Usos. There'll be interesting because it feels like they're still bloodline loyal, but obviously Roman and Solo taking the lead from Roman, Paul Heyman in the ear. Feel like they have other thoughts. Obviously, that will be flushed out here in the weeks to come. Backstage KO segment, no big deal. But then the main event, obviously, KO versus Solo Sikoa. Solo wins with some fuckery. Obviously, the Usos at ringside help Solo Sikoa get the win. Sami Zayn and Riddle come out to help make the save and run off the bloodline. So, I'm assuming that Roman will not be in Puerto Rico for Backlash. I'll assume these 6 guys will be the main event at Backlash. You'll have Ray and Dom versus Ray and Bad Bunny versus Dom and Damian Priest and whatever other matches they want to throw out there. Does Backlash feel like a pay-per-view you want to watch?
I mean, yeah, I want to watch the show. It's not a pay-per-view that I would be happy to spend money for, but it's something I want to watch. I'm happy that it's included in my $5, but if it was something I had to spend money for, I would pirate that shit 100%.
I'm kind of with you on that. I'll not unless you throw me something that I don't see coming. This feels like the bridge to, I guess, what's after this? The Saudi show. That's where I think Roman will come back, and then they'll be in London for Money in the Bank, and then I think SummerSlam's after that. Feels right. Yeah, feels right.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Any other thing you want to vent on WWE before we come back? You want to shit on Vince or anything like that?
Nothing I haven't said a million times before.
That's it for our 3 count. No odds and ends that I can think of. I think we pretty much covered it. I've thrown everybody underneath the bus that I could possibly think of at this point. I was going to say, let's just wrap this sumbitch on up. 2 Beer, thanks for coming out per usual. It's always good to have you. It's nice to actually have a conversation with you from time to time. I know there's a lot of podcasts out there. Thank you for listening to ours. For Shock City Studios, for Sam Namara Mall, for Tinder Mahal, for Patriot Pat, for Murray the Murray Man Murray, for Lucha Chris, for Bill Vagey. Everybody pray for him for his safe return back from Seattle. That's my man, 2 Beer Zach Pullman. I'm your non-humble host, Jason Cornelius Bell, a.k.a. JCB, a.k.a. the Smart Mark, or the Smart Knight. I'm sorry, I fucked that up. Everybody go see your local dispensaries. Everybody go see your fucking restaurants, and everybody boo the fucking heels. Boo, bitch.